Okay, I'm taking a couple of notes here, all right? I like to have a note card to organize my thoughts, and so I don't leave anything out when I do these videos. This is an extremely important part of the course. It's every bit as important as the final part of the course, all right? We're basically at the midterm. By the time we complete this project, that's why I call it a midterm project, we will be halfway through the course. So here's the goal for the midterm project. Is learning occurs by doing things, all right, particularly by doing things together with your peers, all right, just like in the workplace. It's not created by me lecturing to you. It's not necessarily created by studying or reading, all right. I mean, learning happens at those levels, but it doesn't all come together. Learning actually occurs when you actually apply the material. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to cause you to discover some things on your own, whether me telling you stuff. You're going to actually do the discovery and then put this together, and that's how you're going to really learn something new about the media, okay? So what we're putting together here, we're going to put together some research skills. We're going to put together some analytical skills. That means you look at your research and see what it means. Then you're going to work on some synthesis skills. You're going to synthesize what you learned and put it together with some presentation skills. So all of these skills are lifelong learning skills that adapt themselves well to the marketplace of ideas, to the workplace, okay? So let me tell you what you're doing. Basically, you need to look at the the lesson 2 learning module. You have to read the textbook. You have to look at the study guides. You have to understand the material. And then you start to pick a topic, okay? And basically what you're going to do is you're going to create a 14-slide PowerPoint. If you want an A, it needs to be more than that. A means excellent. 14 will give you a C, all right? So you basically put together that or a 4-page research paper. Once again, that'd be a C. An excellent job would be doing more than the minimum amount expected, okay? And the 4-page research paper, I want it to be illustrated. I want you to add some illustrations, some of the things you've learned. I want you to use some charts, graphs, some visual documentary evidence, because this is very much kind of a modern form of media where you're putting together text and visuals together, okay? And when I say 4 pages illustrated, the 4 pages must be of type. The illustrations don't count. I take them out, all right, just make sure you got to those 4 pages. That said, you can use those illustrations, pictures, that's what I mean by illustrations or graphs, charts, whatever. You can talk about those in your paper. That does help you reach the 4-page minimum. So basically, I want you to examine a variety of ideas that exist right now about the media, some important topics right now that are going on, and you get to choose. So I give you a choice. I give you 5 choices, and let me talk about them very quickly, please. First of all, we've kind of already covered this. Critics of media ownership and conglomeration argue that they are a threat to democracy. When all the media is owned by kind of like one company, like General Electric, all the major news networks, not cable, but networks, are owned by other kinds of companies, not even media company. General Electric for years has owned one of the major broadcasting networks. Well, guess what? General Electric makes torpedoes, they make submarines, they do a lot of things that might be kind of a conflict of interest with unbiased news, okay? And so there's a lot of thought, well, the run-up to the Iraq War, how many years ago was that now? 11, 12, 13, whatever. It's like major media talking about that war like they did, in particular kind of promoting it. Well, General Electric had a specific interest in having that war because they were going to use up a lot of bombs and stuff, and General Electric could get to make new ones. So there's kind of a criticism going on there. Well, how good is it for democracy that so much of the media is now owned by large corporations? And for example, we already talked about Clear Channel Radio. That's one huge conglomeration that owns all these radio stations. So it's very, very hard now to get really localized news, localized independent thought, let alone localized music, that kind of thing. So that's one topic. You can look into that. Then, of course, we have Facebook and Twitter. I get a lot of my news from Facebook, all right, and a lot of my news from Twitter, which means I'm not paying for it. You used to have to pay for the news to get it, all right, or it used to come like on television with a lot of advertising. Well, now you can ignore all that and go right to Facebook. And yes, there are ads on Facebook, but frankly, I never notice them, So I want you, that's a topic you can explore what that's meant, all right. Then, of course, cable TV. Cable TV about destroyed my little newspaper in North Manchester, Indiana, where I was a newspaper editor and owner for many years. Cable TV came through town. It was Channel 55 from Fort Wayne and sold all kinds of television advertising for the first time ever. That really cut into our bottom line. We'd kind of had a monopoly on the advertising market in North Manchester. And then, of course, you have YouTube. You have yeah, online viewing habits, all right? Like people spend more time on the internet than they do watching TV nowadays. And then kind of a similar trend, you can research the role that new communication technologies have on like round-the-clock cable news, talk radio, blogs, once again YouTube, that kind of thing. Like how has that impacted the ability of traditional media to make a living? Don't forget, traditional media relies on paid views, all right? It relies on income, that you can't stay in a business if you're not earning more money than you're spending. And the way traditional media, the way my newspaper worked in North Manchester, is we sold advertising, and that was 90% of our revenue, advertising, all right, and subscriptions were 10%. That's always the way it's worked for almost all media, okay, except for television where they sell the visual ads, all right, and then of course cable, you actually pay for cable, you know, but the broadcast was advertising. Well, suddenly you get all this free media. It even cuts into television viewing, because I can sit here and watch YouTube. I can watch The Daily Show on YouTube. I could click through different news. I can watch news snippets, right? I can subscribe to ABC for free and watch, you know, on my computer. And so there's things now that have changed that affect the bottom line of the major media. Okay, so that's something you can talk about. And then last but not least, here's a kind of interesting one. I know there are always a lot of gamers in college classes, right? And there's been a big couple years worth here now of discussion about how violent is the gaming world, all right, particularly towards women, right? What's been going on there in the gaming world? There's been some not so nice things, okay, I'm sorry to say, right? And I start you off with a link there, okay? So, and then, so basically go down through the learning module, study it very carefully, all right? It tells you exactly what I'm expecting, it tells you exactly how to do it, and then I give you a bunch of resources. Item 6 at the end, I show you how to go to the library, I show you how to go to the library research site for this class, all right? Then I give you a bunch of examples of what a good PowerPoint looks like and what a bad PowerPoint looks like. And then if you'll look in your, if you go over to Moodle and look in there, well, below here, because this video is right at the top of this particular lesson, go down where it says assignments. There's a folder with a couple of examples in it of students who got A's. Okay, so that kind of gives you a specific idea of what I'm looking for. Then, last but not least, you have to look at your course calendar, and I will send out reminders. Okay, it's a little complex. We're doing peer review. And if you've never done peer review before, peer review is a chance for you to polish your presentation before you submit it to me. What happens is you put your, ahead of time, look at the course calendar, and I'll remind you when it's due. You put your finished presentation in the peer review discussion, all right? And then you all look at each other's and make comments on it. And sometimes it's not just the comments you get that help you, but it's looking at what the others in your group have done as to where you can say, okay, here's the bar. I've not done that well yet. I better ramp up my own presentation, okay? So peer review is always a two-way street. You look at other people's presentations, and you're thinking about yours while you're looking at theirs, saying, oh, okay, am I doing better than they are, or I'm doing worse, and why? Why am I doing better? Why am I doing worse, okay? So I'll make sure I'll send you reminders on this, but bottom line is first you submit the finished project to peer review, then you have a period of time in which you get to review each other's, look at those, think about them, think about your own, then revise yours accordingly. Never, ever, ever turn the same one in to me that you turn in peer review, because I checked for one thing, okay? So I'll send reminders. Make sure you thoroughly understand the course calendar, please, and enjoy this project. These are really lifelong learning skills, even if you're not going to go into the media, professionally, right? The skills that I'm teaching you with this project are lifelong workplace type skills. So hey, I probably yacked on long enough. I hope this has been a little helpful.